Think back to a moment in your childhood or adolescence when you received something you really wanted. Maybe it was that expensive toy, a brand new cell phone, or incredible trips. Now answer me honestly. Deep down, was there a part of you that still felt empty despite all of this? I begin this video with this provocation because this story, which seems to be about gifts, is usually about something much deeper, especially when we talk about the parent-child relationship. Today, we're going to talk about a phrase that really resonates with me, and I believe it will resonate with you as well. He thought he loved me just because he gave me everything. Maybe you've felt something similar, or you know someone who goes through this. I'm talking about that kind of love that comes wrapped in gifts, in material things, but when we really stop to think, it often hides an absence. And it's not just any absence, it's the absence of presence, of attention, of affection, of true listening. And that hurts. It hurts in a way that not even all the things in the world can fill. Because first of all, I want to make it clear, there's nothing wrong with giving things, with wanting to provide a comfortable life for those we love. The problem starts when we confuse consumption with care, and we believe, or are led to believe, that love is measured by the value of material goods and not by the quality of the bond. You know that classic phrase, "I do everything for my kids"? Many times this everything translates only to purchases, to objects, to supplies, but not necessarily to time, emotional support, or genuine attention. And then the math simply doesn't add up. Many people spend their lives hearing their parents say things like, "I sacrificed myself for your well-being," as if that were the ultimate and absolute proof of love. Those sacrifices, in fact, have enormous value, especially in realities where family is still synonymous with daily struggle. But over time, many people realize that this alone is not enough to fill all emotional needs. As much as the financial effort, hard work, and constant worries are recognized, they still leave gaps where a warmer, closer relationship should exist. It's curious to notice how, even surrounded by good intentions, many parents end up forgetting the small gestures that, in the end, are what truly matter. Sincere conversations, moments of real listening, tight hugs, words of encouragement, or simply that look that says, "I'm really here for you." These demonstrations of presence are easily lost amid the rush and stress of daily life, but it is exactly from them that our deepest emotional memories are made. And this is where the difference lies between providing for someone and truly building an emotional connection. I know many stories, sometimes truly moving ones, of people who, when they look back, recall a materially abundant childhood, the best opportunities, prestigious schools, unforgettable trips, and gifts everyone envied. Yet digging deeper, those same people often admit that despite all this privilege, they deeply miss something essential that didn't come with it. The feeling of belonging and true connection with their parents. The strongest memory is not of the gifts themselves, but of the emptiness left behind, of the absence of a bond built day by day. It is inevitable to ask, are we stuck in a cycle that is hard to break? Sometimes, we repeat stories and patterns that came from our grandparents or great-grandparents, where the idea of love was almost exclusively associated with providing the basics, food, shelter, clothing. There was little talk of explicit affection, of expressing emotions, of validating feelings. And as children, we often find ourselves settling, preferring to believe that we were given everything instead of facing the silent pain of an intimacy never experienced. In the end, this choice can follow us into adulthood, making us insecure, making it harder to create deeper relationships, and even leaving us doubting our own emotions. This isn't about pointing fingers. Every generation did the best they could with what they had. But if we want to change something, we need to recognize that affection can't be bought, presence can't be replaced by gifts, and love is about so much more than consumption. All of this takes courage. Courage from parents to allow themselves to be vulnerable, to listen, to actively participate in their children's emotional lives. And courage from children to name this pain, to recognize that the emptiness exists, yes, even in the midst of all this comfort, and that it's okay to seek new ways to relate to one another. Evidence of this is that many people only realize this imbalance when they start building their own families, or when they discover that even after having achieved so much in life, they still feel an inexplicable void. That's when the truth hits. Maybe that everything we received was, in fact, only part of the equation. And that's okay. This isn't the time for blame, but for allowing ourselves to feel, to seek new paths. Who knows? Maybe even reframe these bonds. No matter how hard it seems, it's always possible to start again. Sometimes, what your parents didn't know how to say, you can learn to say to yourself, to your children, or to the people around you. What I really want you to take from this video is a powerful reflection about what it actually means to care for someone. True care goes way beyond grand gestures or material sacrifices. It is present in the subtle details of daily life, in the small actions, in listening to the other person without judgment, in being available not just in moments of joy, but especially during difficult times. Caring is choosing to be present when silence speaks louder than words. It is showing genuine interest in the other's life by asking simple questions like, "How are you really?" and patiently waiting for the answer. Sometimes care is present in "I love yous" that aren't explicitly spoken, but show up in gestures, glances, and daily choices to stay close by. I want to emphasize that it's never too late to start building deeper and more genuine relationships, regardless of the past or the experiences you've had up until now. There is always time to transform the way we relate to each other, seeking more presence, more vulnerability, and more authentic affection in family and friendships. Each small change in attitude can be the first step to leaving old patterns behind, making room for more sincere and welcoming bonds. This journey of transformation starts by recognizing your own emotional needs and allowing yourself to try, to make mistakes, to start over. After all, creating authentic connections is a continuous and rewarding process, and the decision to do so is always within our reach. If this message made sense to you, share this video with someone who might need this reflection. Comment below about what your relationship with your parents or children is like or has been, and let's build a space together where care isn't confused with consumption, because real love is something we feel, not something we buy. Thank you for watching all the way through, and see you in the next reflection.